Is the Blackrock Bitcoin ETF going to be the thing that finally sends Bitcoin to $1 million? Yeah, maybe. But here's the crazy thing. We're going to $1 million without BlackRock. BlackRock's just the little cherry on top of the cake here. The once in a lifetime liquidity event that is going to change everything in these markets. But Bitcoin was already on the road to $1 million. This just gets it there probably a bit faster, or a bit more for certain, let's say. Now, why do I say that Bitcoin was already on the road to $1 million? Well, there's a few big things happening that I want to discuss. And of course, we're going to discuss that Bitcoin ETF because it's a game-changing moment for the cryptocurrency markets, particularly for Bitcoin, but then for Ethereum when we get that ETF and so on and so forth. Chainlink ETFs and all theirs is probably going to be coming down the pipeline after that. So the first big thing, Michael freaking Saylor, this dude and his gigantic balls have been buying huge amounts of Bitcoin for a very long time. They currently have, 174,000 Bitcoin, something like that. Currently, they're over $2 billion in profit. Their entry price was around $30,000. Their average price for their purchase is around $30,000. How long before other billionaires, other companies look and figure this out? This has been one of the biggest, craziest bets in stock market history, and it's been a successful bet. And every time the price of Bitcoin goes up by a few more dollars, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin stack gets to be worth millions more. It's crazy, exponential potential. Companies are not going to keep ignoring that forever. Remember, Tesla still has Bitcoin. Other companies still have Bitcoin. There's quite a few companies that relatively quietly bought during the bear market. Not a lot of fuss was made about it. We discussed some of those companies here, of course, on the channel, but it's coming. It's coming. More and more companies, more and more big money players are going to wake up to this reality that they are missing out. That Saylor has proved an insane point. And this guy's not going to be selling. I feel like Saylor's going to hodl that Bitcoin to the grave, man. Take his private keys with him like a true Bitcoiner. Reducing the supply, right? That's a major factor. Major factor. Big money sees this. They're not dumb. They understand what's going on. The second big thing, of course, is regular people. And this, I know, it's not as sexy to talk about as like, oh, the billionaires are here, man. But this is big because here's the facts. Retail buyers have been buying crazy amounts of Bitcoin. We've seen a basic nonstop growth of wallet addresses for people holding 0.01 Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin. A lot of people stacked a whole coin. Tens of thousands of new one coin addresses were added during the bear market. Congratulations, by the way, if that is you, if you're one of those people. Retail money, just retail money, not the billionaire whales, just retail money during the bear market, during the last few months, have been buying more Bitcoin than miners are producing every single month. Bear market / early bull market demand levels were insane. What happens when the Bitcoin halving comes? And that daily new supply that's created is cut in half. Well, then suddenly retail money, if demand were to stay the same, is suddenly buying twice what miners are producing. But demand's probably going to increase with all these different products that are coming out. Massively bullish. And of course, the supply on exchanges going down all the time as more and more people are buying. Not a math genius here, but I'm pretty sure that when a limited supply item continues to decrease in supply and demand continues to go up, that the price goes up. Number 3, we are seeing historical adoption by country level actors. Now here's, in case you didn't know this, we actually have countries confirmed mining Bitcoin at a country level. Not just, there's some company in this country that mines Bitcoin. No. Actual countries. Bhutan, been doing it for years. Small Himalayan mountain kingdom, probably one of the world's richest countries in the not so distant future. The UAE, Oman, both running big Bitcoin mining farms. Probably lots of other players that maybe haven't even said anything, but are just quietly doing it. Sometimes those may be countries that some people may not like very much, like Iran or Russia, but they're probably doing it because of their international standing right now. What about countries like Singapore that have been buying Bitcoin for a long time via their sovereign wealth fund for years now? It's interesting, right? What about Qatar, which is now rumored to have their sovereign wealth fund buying Bitcoin? Not confirmed, but rumored at this point. How much they're going to buy, if they're buying, still, I would not be surprised to see more sovereign wealth funds getting into the Bitcoin game. Countries like El Salvador actually adopting Bitcoin. Rumors that we're going to see countries like Argentina potentially make Bitcoin legal tender, or other South or Latin American countries in particular seem to have been a big target for evangelists to want to get these countries to take on Bitcoin as a legal tender within those countries. Will that happen? Remains to be seen, but at least one country definitely going all in on Bitcoin as legal tender, and that's El Salvador. But also other countries are passing sweeping regulations, like happened in Brazil, like happened in Germany and other places. In Brazil, it's been insane. Once they passed all these crypto regulations saying that you could use Bitcoin basically as money within Brazil, and that it had a legal status as a payment method, not that it was legal tender, but that you could pay with it. So the option there is that people can just say no, and I don't want to take that Bitcoin stuff. Give me some Brazilian reals instead. That's fine. But the adoption that we've seen, the biggest bank in Brazil now offers Bitcoin to people, Bitcoin ETFs on Brazilian stock markets. The biggest ride sharing app in Brazil accepts Bitcoin, has a Bitcoin wallet inside the app. Like, we're talking crazy levels of adoption. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We had so many stories out of Brazil about adoption. One of the world's biggest countries, biggest economies, biggest populations. Big news. Again, we were on the road to $1 million without the Bitcoin ETF. And there's just been massive nonstop adoption at the financial layer as well. Because, yeah, okay, sure, we've had some different banks getting in and taken in isolation. You may not think it's that exciting. Okay, the biggest bank in Brazil is offering Bitcoin to their clients. Whoop-de-doo. Great. Big news. What's that really going to do? But when you realize it's been dozens of banks this year internationally, dozens all around the world, Banco Santander and Standard Chartered and many, many others now offering Bitcoin services one way or another to their customers. Huge news, guys, because this means that we have more money that can come into the market easily. If you want markets to go up, if you want prices to go up, you need new money to come in. You need new buyers, and you need new ways for money to get into the market. Remember, crypto is still a relatively new market, unlike the stock markets or something like that, which are very well established and have great on and off ramps into them. Crypto's still struggling with on and off ramps, with banks and stuff like this, giving people a hard time. But now the banks, now we see their hand. The banks want to be the ones that are actually doing it. They want to be the ones that are actually selling the Bitcoin to people. And they're doing it. It's crazy. So that brings us to the Bitcoin ETF, which of course is very, very, very big news. Before we do dive into that, just a quick note. If you're not signed up to the Wealth Mastery newsletter yet, you got to check it out. Best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency game. Every single issue jam-packed full of alpha on altcoins, DeFi, NFTs, technical analysis, and much, much more. We spend about 40 hours a week researching, writing, so that you can enjoy a nice, easy 10-minute read packed full of alpha. Over 90,000 people a week are already reading it. You can too, for free, using the link in the description. Thank you. So, the Bitcoin ETF. It's big, man. It's big. People don't realize how crazy this is going to be. We're talking tens of billions of dollars entering the market at Bitcoin. Ethereum and all that stuff will also capture billions and billions of value of investor money. Pension funds, family offices, endowments, Joe Blow and his retirement account. Everybody is going to get access. This gives Bitcoin a level of regulatory clarity that simply did not exist before. This gives everybody the nod of approval. It's okay. Bitcoin's not a scam. You can go and invest in it. It's fine. BlackRock is offering you an ETF product now. Game changing. Absolutely game changing. Plus, right now, all these firms, BlackRock, Fidelity, whatever, they are going to be sitting down with their sales teams, telling them how to sell Bitcoin to their clients. And the value proposition for these companies is massive, because these guys can sell a bunch of Bitcoin to their clients under $100,000, for example, and then Bitcoin goes up to $500,000 or $1 million in the long run. They're collecting fees every single year off of that. It's a big business for these guys. And if they are selling this Bitcoin to people and it goes 10x, 20x over, the next years, man, they're going to make a lot of money off those fees. Big time custody fees, right? Annual fees for the ETF products. Very big, very, very big. And ETFs are huge in the investing world because not only are all these players going to buy it, but you're also going to see different ETFs put those ETFs into their ETFs. So there's going to be all kinds of different ways in which Bitcoin is getting accumulated and people are getting access to it. ETFs are big. ETFs are popular. People like ETFs. And there's a lot of money that is sitting on the sidelines and either can't, because of one reason or another, invest in Bitcoin without an ETF product, or won't, for one reason or another, invest in Bitcoin without an ETF product. Those classes of people are now getting access. It's massive. It's massive. And everything I mentioned before is really the big, big story, because long-term, that stuff was going to drive us up to $1 million anyway. But with BlackRock coming in, with these Bitcoin ETF products coming in, markets are about to get a whole hell of a lot crazier than most people realize. Buckle up.